So in the early, okay, so we're talking about right livelihood. We don't often favor the word right. I prefer skillful or appropriate, but right is the word that most people are accustomed to. So we use that also. And so we're sort of going back to the Eightfold Path. And it is said to be the fifth factor in more traditional teachings on the Eightfold Path. But I don't really see them in order like one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. I think they are really just all intertwined. But we're talking about this one today. And this week, we're talking about livelihood.
Right. And in one of the suttas, the Buddha names five livelihoods to avoid. Um, the first one is trading in weapons. The second one is trading in living beings. The third in meat production. The fourth is in intoxicants. And the fifth is in poisons. Now, I haven't read the sutta particularly, so this is just from some of our research. And again, I don't know the order of these things, but these are the things that are listed out in the sutta as livelihoods to avoid.
And it sort of follows up with one's livelihood should not cause harm. Well, good luck. I mean, I think that again, that's that sort of black and white kind of way that the teachings come down to us, really. But I think most, we can't avoid all harm, if we, ha work for a corporation, harm may be being done, but our job may be, not obviously involved in that. We can talk about that more later in the week, but just pointing out now that maybe we have to change that. I have to change that. We should be aware of the harm that our livelihood causes and make choices around that.
Right. And that is another point of the Buddha was talking from a monastic point of view. And he was teaching monastics. And to live as a monastic, it did mean trying to live simply on alms, food that's given to you, without any manipulation, just eating what you were given. He doesn't talk about the later development of that, of people getting sick and malnourished and having difficulty sustaining themselves on one meal a day with whatever they're given. But in the monastic community, it did seem a bit more simple as compared to a layperson, where earning money in many ways that you don't have a choice about how you're going to make your livelihood.
But at any rate, the foundation here is ethical. So rather than to cause no harm, to cause less harm, and that is an ethical um, orientation.
Right. Go, Nelly.
Okay, but nowadays, in our times, in our lives, livelihood, as we've already been saying, is much more complex because, we're not talking about just how we earn money, and especially at the age that most of us are at, who are in a part of our sangha. Um, we're also, talking about what are we doing as we're aging? What is your work in life now? How do you see your work? How do you see your work if you're in retirement? How do you see your work in terms of, the political world we're living in, the global instability? And then finally, what is your work about being an old person and dying?
Right. Right. I mean, dying and staying alive during, our spirit is alive until we die. How do we keep a spirit, our some spirit energy under the economic and social pressure? And for me today, even under what just happens when decisions are made out of our control to go against right livelihood. It seems like what we're doing in the larger world is not in line with an ethical basis of livelihood.
And because we are all interconnected, we are all implicated in that in
Yeah,
different ways,
yeah.
one way or another. So in reflective meditation, we really widen the meaning of livelihood or jīva from the Pali language, the word in the Pali language. And we've already talked about that. It includes income, but it also includes sustenance in a broader sense.
Right. We've even extended this teaching into the sustenance of needs as another mark of existence, that we have needs to survive, to thrive. And, as we've been talking about, it just doesn't only include what we do for a living, but that work. And it's interesting that we use the word work because work has a really different connotation for different people. But work is like the activity, the energy that we put towards doing something important, something that has deep meaning to us. And internal work, maybe you can't even see it going on at times. Meditation, we can't see what's going on inside of you until you talk about the work that you're doing. So I use that again, a broader sense of work, not just for, again, income, but what comes from this internal work that we're doing. I think I went off on a tangent, Nelly. Help me.
It was a fine tangent. I don't have trouble with
Okay.
with that. I guess I might want to end with saying though that I really do hope for each of us that we do have some meaningful work because it really does make a life meaningful. Whatever, inner work, outer work, political work, work in the more usual sense of the
Yeah.
word, whatever
Yeah.
that looks like.
Yeah. Okay.
So are you up for ringing the bell or would you like me to do that?
I can ring a